Okay, here's a little warm-up video for you. So starting kneeling, just try to relax. And then we're going to start just by doing some spinal flexion and extension. So nice and easy. Rounding the back and then arching the back. Just let your head fall back. Still try to keep your core muscles engaged so belly is strong to prevent any excessive bending in your lower back. And just let your shoulders fall back, shoulder blades come to touch. Inhale, open up your chest. And exhale from your belly out through your nose. I'm going to open up the front of the shoulders. Take your left arm, bring it back, maybe grab onto your right elbow. Push your right fingertips into the floor. Try to look down towards your shoulder, and then look up towards the back corner of the room. And then back down. Switching to the other side. So we're going to grab on to the left arm with the right fingertips, or just tuck your hand behind your back as much as you can. Looking towards the shoulder and down, and then up towards the back corner of the room. Clench your jaw closed if you want a little bit more, and then roll your head back to center. Hands clasped together behind your head. Open up your butterfly wings and close them, going back into that spinal flexion, this time putting more focus on your cervical spine. And opening up, let your head be heavy to open up your pecs and your front of your shoulders. And closing again. We'll do this a couple times. Opening, inhale, and close, exhale. Relax. And coming back up to the top. Big breath in. Open your arms. Clasp your hands together behind your back as much as you can, or you could grab on to a towel or whatever you have around to bridge the gap. Let your head fall forward, and as much as you can, try to bring your fingertips forward. If you can clasp your hands, try to squeeze all the air out from between your palms. And since we're just warming up, it doesn't have to be too deep. We're going to come up to a standing position in a forward fold. So feet can be about hip distance, and just relax here. We're just going to decompress the spine since you've probably just woken up. You can sway side to side. And then we're going to take a twist. So it's okay to bend the opposite knee of the hand that's coming up. And if you want, you can tuck that hand behind, opening up the anterior deltoid. I'm trying to get the twist to happen from the thoracic spine rather than from the hips. Also an option to reach your hand closer toward your knee if forward fold puts a lot of pressure on your hamstrings. Nice and easy, we're going to roll up, gradually tucking the tailbone, middle back, and then pulling the ribs in. Feel your weight shift underneath you. Start to feel the floor underneath your toes. And just play around with that feeling. So shifting forward on the toes, shifting back onto the heels, finding your center. Engaging the calves, warming up the bottoms of the feet, finding your balance, lifting the core muscles up and over your legs, and just taking little bounces, get any of the cracks and pops out from underneath you, move the hips around a little bit, just checking in. Notice if one hip feels tighter, moving the waist around above the hip joints. Anything feels weird there, take note. And take a couple circles of the chest over the hips. Moving from the thoracic spine. And then we're going to circle the shoulders back. And circle the shoulders forward. Allow the head to fall back. Very slow here. And change the direction. And let the head come forward, shoulders up, let everything settle into place. And we're going to open up the palms. Here, we're going to pull the fingertips back as much as we can towards the elbows, and we're going to pulse the fingers outward. So spread the webbing of your fingers as wide as you can. Try to pull the pinky fingers away from the thumbs, and the thumbs away from the pinky fingers. Open up the palms, big capital T, and just pulsing backwards. Do your best to keep your elbows straight. Warming up the shoulder joints and little circles here, some circumduction through the shoulder joints. Palms can face forward. And reversing the direction. And all the while doing this, just notice if anything feels sticky in a joint or crunchy. And starting to warm up the wrists, rolling the fingers in one at a time, pinky all the way through the thumb finger, and make a fist push out. We're going to make some elbow circles as we do this, and then do some nerve gliding. So roll the fingers in, touch your shoulder, then make the OK sign to bring it back out. If you need more time with this, go really slow. You might get a tingling feeling in your bicep. Finding some of that wrist extension with those circles. Palms facing upwards. I'm going to come to a halfway lift or half fold position, bringing the hands forward, thumbs to touch. Rotate the back of the hands towards each other as you swim your arms back behind you, almost as if you were going to clasp your hands together. And then come up to standing right where we started. Arms out. And arms forward. Back of the hands towards each other. Push the water back behind you. And back up to standing. So just working through some shoulder flexion with external rotation and internal rotation back behind. And doing this a few more times. Take it nice and slow. And reaching out as far as you can, as straight as you can make your elbows, and pushing back. And this one we're going to do the hairdresser. So bringing the palm towards the face, opening up, and pushing that wall back behind you. Hand towards the face, rotate the shoulder out. You'll feel a pec stretch here, anterior deltoid stretch. You can also do this stretch on a wall with some resistance. So pushing into the wall, rotating the shoulder in for internal rotation. As you drop down, you'll get a really deep stretch in the front of your shoulder. This is a good option after you've gotten nice and warm and you need a little bit more. And taking a little bit of a step out, reaching your left hand towards the sky. Going to rotate your pinky towards the front of the room, sweep forward and then back behind and back up to the sky. So this is the waiter's mobility drill, as if you're holding on to a tray and rotating forward, back, behind. You can do this one standing up. It's a little bit more challenging, so that's why I'm folding to the side to make it a little bit easier. You can also do this drill with a block in your hand and trying to not drop the block as you move through it. It's kind of fun. So same thing, pinky finger towards the mirror, sweep forward and back, and then circle it back up to where you started. So back into external rotation, rotate internal, sweep forward, sweep back, still an internal, and then back to external. Here we're modifying and just folding to the side to make it a little bit easier. And then you can go ahead and relax that arm back down. You do just a little bit of spinal flexion and extension here. So tucking the pelvis, tucking the chin in as far forward as you need to go or as far down as you need to go, and then rounding it up. A wider base of the feet makes balance easier. You can also bend your knees here too for balance. And folding at the bottom, just let your spine relax. Come to a squat position, step your feet out a little bit wider. A sumo squat, and just take a nice twist, deepening that thoracic spine rotation. A little groin stretch while we're here. These feel so good. Release the rhomboids. And we're going to come to this goddess squat or sumo squat position. Still tucking the tailbone underneath, trying to make your spine flat and in line with your knees. Just pulsing down a couple times, waking up the glutes, and the quads, inner thighs. And open up nice and big. Sweep the arms forward, coming into a lunge position, really short lunge, and rotate that arm back, coming forward. This one's tough. Finding your balance in a warrior three. Pushing your thumbs into the ceiling, squeezing your back glute, tap the toe down, open up right back to where you started, and going right to the other side. Arms sweeps forward and back. Hands come towards the front and launch forward, lifting through the glute. Do your best. Bending the knee to come back down. Nice and slow back to the center. Opening up, find the lunge. Rotating through that shoulder as we keep the spine straight. Use your glute to press up, ground through the bottom foot, through the pinky toe, big toe, and heel. And very gently finding that lunge again. Push to the back heel as much as you can, as if you're pushing your foot into a wall. Trying to glue the back heel to the wall. Still engaging the core muscles through your spine. If this is tricky, try to do it on a solid floor. If you want to make it harder, do it on a squishy mat like the one I have here. Still pushing through that back heel. Activate your back glute. And also activate the front glute as you start to come up. It's okay if your knee is bent. It doesn't have to be straight. Starting the day off with a challenge for your balance. No jumping or hopping here. This is all isometric. Easy on the joints. Reaching forward, get really long. Eventually, we'll be able to keep that hip level. And then coming back to center, a little bit deeper now into that squat. Hips are a little bit more open. Always an option to take a twist here if you want. We're just trying to find that true primal squat. Just going to grab onto the knee and push out. So a little bit more of a groin opening. Now that we're warm enough for it, push out.